Hey, what is up guys? It is Phantom here and welcome back to a brand new video everyone. So in this video, I am going to be going over the absolute best fire stats for level 130s. Now I know I made a video like almost exactly like this about literally what stats you should have for a fire at level 130 like a few months ago. It has been a while since that last video, but I made a lot of mistakes in that video that I would really like to correct, just involving like the gear and the actual stats that you want to be going for. So I'd like to correct my mistakes. I'd like to repent for my sins. So I am bringing you guys a fully updated 130 fire, stats, fire gear guide, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, let's get into the video. Alright, so first let's hop into the stats here. This is basically a guide on how to get 170 plus damage as a fire, as well as pretty much max crit and max power pip. Those are the main stats that we're going to be going for, because fire is obviously a very, very offensive school. So those are the stats that you really want in your fire. So I've got 172 damage. The resist, it just doesn't, for a fire, I mean, come on, like, none of your gear is going to give a ton of resist. Some of your gear is going to give no resist. Basically, you're not going to have a ton of resist, at least if you're not going for the same offensive setup that I have. So as for accuracy here, we have 24%. I know that's not max, technically, for most of the fire spells, but really, once you get into the later shadow spells, such as Scorching Scimitars, Raging Bull, they're only at 70% accuracy, so you'd actually need to get a lot more accuracy in the long run. So for this, I mean, it's high enough to where I usually don't have to worry about fizzling, but there is a slight chance. So I'll just warn you of that. They're not the tippity top perfect ice stats. Believe me, I tried to find a way to incorporate some extra accuracy. It wasn't going to happen. So anyways, let's get into the actual important stuff, the gear, and pretty much where to get it. So for the fire hat, I've got the Dragoon's fiery helm here. It is the Dragoon gear. Obviously, it's the Dragoon gear that you get from the catacombs. You craft it with all the alchemical reagents here. It's an absolute beast helmet. No resist. Once again, that's going to be a common theme throughout most of your helmets, honestly, on a lot of wizards. So really, really offensive here. Really, really good piece of solid Dragoon gear right there. You get it from the catacombs, by the way, like I said before, from crafting it from those reagents. Next up, we have the Tennyson robe, the Radiant Light Brigade armor. This is dropped by Corporal Tennyson, who I believe is located in Xanadu. So he's located in like the sewers there somewhere. He's pretty easy to find. I'm sure you'll have no trouble with it, but I believe he's a gold key skeleton boss. So I farmed him for this, just an upgrade basically of the Rattlebones as well as Darkmoor robe. It gives you like a little bit more crit, I think, and like 1% extra damage, and maybe some other stuff thrown on top of that. Basically, it's probably the best fire robe in the game. I can't really think of one that's actually better than it. So anyways, for the boots here, we have the Dragoon boots. Once again, really, really good pair of boots here. You get this in the catacombs, once again, crafted from the alchemical reagents that you just, get from an array of bosses. So once again, really, really offensive there. Lots of crit, lots and lots of damage for your fire to help boost them up. Actually, a decent amount of health on this gear as well, which is really, really interesting to think about. So yeah, actually with this fire set, you're almost going to be getting 7k health, maybe even actually a bit more if you have better health jewels than me, which mine are not perfect, but you could definitely get to 7k. You could definitely get up there if you had better jewels. As for the wand here, I've got the Sinbad wand, which is the Caputin's grappling hook. You can either get this from the crown shop, from the Sinbad horde pack, which, okay, it's having difficulty me clicking on it, but you can actually get this from the Sinbad horde pack right here. It's the Caputin's grappling hook, hands down just the best one in the game. A perfect balance of critical and damage. This is just gonna help so much, seriously so much in your travels. And you can also get it from the Sinbad gauntlet, I do believe, but I mean, pack, if you want to spend money, that's definitely a quicker alternative. But hands down, this is the best one. This is the one you are going to be going for. This is the thing that you want. Next up for the Athame, this one gets a little, it gets a little weird, because this is when it, starts to make it so you can mix and match with your gear. So at least for my Athame, I have the Morganth's Athame, the Edge of the Shadow Web. I socketed some crit jewels. I socketed a health jewel, which is obviously not a perfect health jewel. Like I said, I didn't quite reach the 7k health, but that doesn't mean you can't. So gives a lot of damage, a lot of power pip. I obviously socketed extra stats there to meet, the max amount for each one, just to completely max my character out and just make him really offensive overall. So that's my Athame here. You could probably mix and match with the Darkmoor Athame, and then there could be some other alternatives out there. There's obviously the Dragoon one, but that like erases some power pip. It gives you more health, but I'd really recommend either probably the Morganth one or the Darkmoor one. I'm not sure if there's any better alternatives out there, but these are really, or this one at least, and the Darkmoor one are pretty balanced, if I do say so myself. But honestly, I'd recommend the Morganth one. That's the best one, at least for me. Next up is another mix and match piece. I've got the Amulet of Divine personally, but this could easily be replaced by, like, say, the Shane Amulet. The Shane Amulet can give more crit, which in the long run could save you, you know, from having to socket better crit jewels on your fire, but regardless, you're gonna need a good amulet, like either the Amulet of Divine, the Shane Amulet. I'm not really sure if there's many more that really meet this high tier level of crit, resist, health, so it's mostly the critical that you want these amulets for, so I definitely either recommend Shane or Amulet of Divine for it. So if you use the Amulet of Divine, like I said, it gives a little bit less critical, so you're gonna want to socket some better jewels, but it doesn't matter too much. It really doesn't matter too much. Next up for the ring here, we have the Dragoon ring. This is probably the best ring for fire if I'm thinking about it. I mean, just gives, like, oh man, a whole bunch of crit, a whole bunch of damage. The health isn't the best. Like I said, I socketed a health jewel. That's just, you know, the stuff I like to socket personally. I'd probably recommend socketing a defense opal that's universal, but I didn't really have an extra one, so I just socketed Storm for now, so don't pay attention to that too much. And then obviously I have another crit jewel there, another circle jewel to meet my basic crit needs, so that's definitely the ring that you're going to want for fire. Now the pet is a really weird thing because you can also mix and match with this, same as the amulet, Athame. It's okay. Personally, I like my Avenging Fossil here. My Jack, my Charred Fossil, he is a triple crit, triple damage pet, so I get like a ton of damage. Obviously that 10 dealer, super important, especially if you're going to want to be going over 170, you know, in some retrospect. And then of course you're going to want good numbers on your, let's say, you know, if you do go for a triple, which is, you know, triple damage, triple crit, you're definitely going to want higher numbers on that so you can get the best stats possible and just save you a lot of socketing in the long run, farming for those max jewels. It's no fun, seriously. So this is the one I like to go with personally. You could definitely go with a more, I don't know, say chase here, you know, to balance out your resist a bit more, have some more damage just in there, but for critical and damage, just to get that max crit with as much damage as possible, which is really important for a fire, I would recommend this pet personally. And then of course, if you want to go for damage, like there's other things you could try, like a quint damage pet. It really is up to you, but if you are looking into max critical with just the most amount of damage as possible, I would really recommend a pet like this. And then next up we have the Fire Ghulture. So this one, you know, I might get hated in the comments for being pay to win here, but literally, you just get this from the Ghulture pack. It's in the crowd shop. It's a great pack. You obviously, you know, you're not guaranteed your school mount personally. Where is it? Ghulture pack. There it is. Ghulture pack. You're not guaranteed your school mount. Of course, like I've gotten many Ghultures before. I've gotten like the ice, the life before I've gotten the fire, and yeah, anyways, it gives you that bonus 3% damage, which definitely helps you cross that 170 mark. And obviously, it's not required. Like you don't need this extra 3% damage, but if you really are going for that maximum amount of damage, Fire Ghulture, really good to have. Really nice to have, in my opinion. And then lastly, I believe, is the deck here, and this one is also a mix and match because I've got the Rasputin's one personally right here with the 10% power pip socketed. I have to emphasize this. You're definitely going to need power pip jewels to socket, so you can get that 100% power pip, which is just super important. So I put one in my deck here, and I believe I have another one, yeah, on my Athame here, and then I think that's about it. So yeah, the triangles are what you're going to be wanting to look out for. So I've got the Rasputin deck equipped here, and you could either probably, I'm guessing, mix and match this with the Omen deck here. So the Omen deck, as you can see, is slightly better, but before I got the Omen deck, I had already socketed my Triangle Jewel onto my Rasputin deck. That's why I don't have the Omen deck. I'm not using the Omen deck currently, or else I would, because the Omen deck is slightly better, but you can definitely get by on using the Rasputin deck. But like I said, I already socketed the Jewel in the Rasputin by the time I got the Omen one, so that's kind of depressing. But yeah, that's why, you know, if you're wondering why I'm not using the better alternative or not having its socket unlocked, well, there you go. That's pretty much it. And one more quick recap of the stats to see exactly what gear it gets you, or what stats the gear gets you. So like I said, above 172 damage, Fire Ghulture, definitely very important for this if you want to cross this boundary, but you can still get really good damage without it. 28 resist across the board with, you know, some extra like opaque, you know, stuff circled in there. Like I said, I've got like a little bit of resist socketed in like every once in a while, but you don't technically need it. And then accuracy, you know, it's okay, it's not the best. Critical though, which is, God, so essential. 100% across the board there. Oh, Pierce, by the way, I forgot to go over Pierce, and I'm just gonna say this is a purely PvE setup, okay? This is I forgot to mention that at the start of the video. There's definitely going to be some PvP people that are going to be triggered by this. And yes, this you know, current set of gear is not going to get you the most Pierce. Although I'm not really sure how important Pierce is in PvP. I'm not the expert on PvP, like I said. In every video, I feel like I have to say this, but I'm not the expert on PvP. I am a PvE player, pretty much, and this is really just the best stats for PvE in my opinion. So you get that 100% power pip across the board. Pip conversion, I'm not really gonna talk about that too much. I don't think it's very important. Shadow pip bonus, they're gonna be reworking this soon. By the time I like upload this video, I don't know. Power pips though, super important to have at 100%. Same with crit, and then you just get a ton of damage for that good offensive round off. So anyways, that's gonna be it for the level 130 fire gear guide. If you guys enjoyed, or maybe this helped you, you could leave a like down below or subscribe if you are liking the content so far. I post videos like this pretty much all the time because, I mean, it's Wiz and it's summer and I just have nothing to do. I have nothing better to do, so it's super fun for me, and it would mean a lot if you could show some support. So anyway, I hope this helped you, seriously, in your fire gear endeavors and everything. So anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for me. I'll see y'all in the next video. Take care, guys, and peace out.